That's the 2-minute warning. The home team is looking at a big capital L loss if they are unable to score on their next drive. And it looks like the home quarterback is requesting a timeout, and I may be mistaken here, but it looks like she might be pulling out the big guns. What do you think? You ready? Let's do this. It is almost time for the most cherished of American holidays, the Super Bowl. A time when family, friends, and strangers alike gather around the green glow of a turf-covered TV. They gorge themselves on finger foods, imbibe in carbonated sugary beverages, and yell at the screen where a bunch of big dudes try to maintain control of a ball. It's great, it's well-rounded, there's something for everyone. Don't care about football? That's okay. You can stick around for the increasingly tired ads, and you might get a chuckle out of one or two. Not really interested in either of those? Well, awesome. Here's a bombastic musical performance crammed into a 15-minute slot. Thanks, Pepsi. And if you want to make things even more interesting with any or all of these Super Bowl staples, you can always bet on it, bet on it, bet on it, bet on it. As with most things in the year of our Lord 2025, there's plenty to hate on. If I pick it apart and start to think about it for too long, I can actually feel a migraine start to form behind my right temple. There is almost nothing for our enjoyment anymore that isn't trying to sell us something. It's inescapable. Therefore, every mid-December through early February, I find myself in a bit of an internal struggle. Do I care about football? Not really. But the FOMO is strong when it comes to massive cultural events, and so over the years, I have chosen to invest myself. If I'm going to spend a bajillion hours or however long the Super Bowl is staring at a television screen, then I'm at least going to make sure that I'm going to receive the most authentic human experience possible. I do this by adhering to a self-imposed ritual where I watch the last few games of the postseason, endear myself to whichever team passes my personal vibes check, and then going all in with displaced emotions rooting for that team. Though I was impressed with the skills of the 2022 Rams, I ended up rooting for the Bengals because Joe Burrow was serving Golden Retriever puppy energy. Last year, I rooted for the 49ers because George Kittle was serving Golden Retriever puppy energy. What can I say? I've always endeared myself to an underdog. Also, I hate the Chiefs. Aggressively throwing myself into caring about a team I've just discovered just so I can feel something during the cold, dark, and soul-sucking days of February is a tradition that I've kept since 2018. Much like my autism, though, one could make the argument that my childhood tendencies pointed to an ever-present outcome. There's something about the pageantry of sports fan culture that has always called to me. And being from Western Pennsylvania, a couple Steelers wins late in my elementary school years definitely amplified the appeal. In 4th grade, there was a contest to crown the best fit Steeler Nation had to offer, and I saw a golden opportunity to let my freak flag fly in an appropriate setting. With my grandmother's leftover yarn stash, I would make black and gold fringe sleeves that would put Roger Daltrey into a jealous rage. Looking back, it's incredible to me that I was not diagnosed well into my 20s. Unfortunately, I didn't start my creative endeavor until the night before, and so when I rolled into school late for a half day in my unlicensed Palomalu jersey and my fantastic worsted weight yarn strands, the contest had already taken place. But I still looked super cool. Since my diagnosis and the journey of acceptance and self-discovery that followed, I guess you could probably say that I have leaned in hard to my yearly urge to cosplay as a serious sports fan. You might also say I've regressed into childish tendencies, but you would be wrong. I will die on the hill that says fun has no age limit and you're a party pooper. You will never know the bliss that comes with constructing an eagle onesie 2 days before the big game, running out of time, safety pinning a beak to your hood stuffed with toilet paper, and then flapping your wings and screeching anytime Philadelphia scored against Kansas City. You might be thinking that sounds like a lot, and yeah, I guess it was. That's why last year I decided to not even bother with the dressing up part until about 3 hours before the game started, and the fear of missing out crescendoed with each passing moment. So I went to Family Dollar, bought a maroon shirt, some gold vinyl, hyperfixated on the best way to graphically lay out its National Tight End Day, printed the design, stenciled it onto the vinyl, cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and then ironed it onto the shirt. I think I ended up missing most of the first quarter, but I still have my shirt, and every time I put it on, I smile at the pure energy of George Kittle rallying his team with such a silly phrase. So this year, 2025, Super Bowl LIX. L would be 50 plus IX, which is 9. So Super Bowl 59. There are a few factors that will possibly make Super Bowl 59 my most flamboyant yet. Number 1, the Eagles are playing. I've rooted for the Eagles twice before this year. Since I usually pick my team somewhat randomly, I think my previous years of investment will only serve to amplify my excitement. Also, I've got to hype up my home state. Also, I have such a fondness for Philly fans, and I feel this weird sense of kinship to them. Like, I want to be a part of the frenzy. Also, I hate the Chiefs. Number 2, I hate the Chiefs. Do you feel rage start to build inside you when you see the third ad in a row featuring Patrick Mahomes? But it's like funny because the ad is directly addressing that Patrick Mahomes has been in so many commercials and we're so tired of it, and it's like, it's so meta, it's like zeitgeist, it's so cool. And then you start to think about the incredibly unsubtle grab at gaining new NFL viewership through the exploitation of celebrity dating. And all the while, in the back of your mind, you're thinking of that stupid thing that Chiefs fans do. You know, that chant that they do while doing a questionable arm gesture. Yeah, me neither. No, but for real, let me put a positive spin on my very dark feelings and say that they have only fueled my passion for the game in the last few years. Number 3, Kendrick. I'm so excited for the halftime show this year, and I have been mentally choreographing potential set lists and like set productions ever since Kendrick was announced as the performer last year. Knowing there's a chance that I can reach those pure, euphoric, oh snap moments that I experienced when listening to Not Like Us and TV Off for the first time is very exciting. I've imagined a short sequence where maybe Kendrick is doing one of his earlier songs, and then it transitions into a few bars from Not Like Us, and the crowd's going crazy, and then the track like skips backwards and starts looping. And while this is going on, the handheld cam that has been following like Kendrick's face as he's like bopping through the crowd, like having a blast, pans around to the main stage where a turntable has appeared and there's like a shadowy figure behind it, and it's just like dun 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 dun. The lights flash up to reveal the man himself as Kendrick is joined by the rest of the stadium screaming, hyping up DJ Mustard, who is just going crazy up there. If something like this doesn't happen, I will forever see it as a missed opportunity to feature not only 2 of the most culturally relevant songs of the past year, or maybe the last decade or like century, but also to play the 2 most NFL sounding songs I have ever heard. I'm getting so hyped just thinking about it. Number 4, The Brotherly Shove. Circling back to the Eagles, they have this play called The Brotherly Shove, and for some reason it seems to induce a lot of feelings for some football fans. I think it probably has to do with the fact that it's like the entire offensive line of men are just like joining together into like a sort of human centipede to shove and push each other over the end zone. During this play, it's hard to tell where one player ends and the other begins, and I think some fans find this a little bit unsettling. Personally, I find it kind of beautiful.
But Tristan, what about all those icky feelings you have about commercialism? Remember how angry you get when you see an advertisement specifically designed to prey on your emotions, muttering and shaking your head, once again dumbstruck to see such blatant manipulation through tear-filled eyes? Did you forget about that sinking feeling of dread you experienced when you realized Nickelodeon was airing its own special broadcast of the Super Bowl, complete with beloved cartoon characters in an attempt to foster a new generation of NFL fans? What about your weird and complex feelings surrounding the very essence of an organization that seems to value money over the safety of its players and acts like a deep sea predator, drawing in often disenfranchised young men with the promises of success and riches dangling like a light from its head? But what about those young men who love the game? Who are you to tell anyone that their passion is misplaced? And what about kids who want to understand the game and participate in a shared experience with their parent or older sibling or a friend? What's wrong with crying during a commercial? And who are you to separate a manufactured emotional experience from a genuine one?
Here's my reality as I currently see it. I am an emotionally complex being. My partner is an emotionally complex being. My parents and siblings and friends are emotionally complex beings. Every person I have ever met or will ever meet is an emotionally complex being. Making sense of my emotions and living every day isn't always going to result in a harmonious existence. Do I really want to give money to a massive corporation that probably works to make its products more addicting and doesn't care about the health deficits that it's encouraging and probably causing among its consumers? No, but sometimes I want hot chip. Do I trust my data with big tech companies who sell me tools to aid in self expression while using that expression to create an artificial form of individualism that will probably render my art obsolete someday? No, but when I can't tear myself off the couch, an iPad and Google Docs really come in clutch. And where else am I going to post a video? Dailymotion? Living today is hard, and making sense of today is hard. Finding an appropriate outlet or setting to release all of these emotions isn't always easy. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and standing up and jumping around and screaming at the TV and hanging my head in frustration while I watch a bunch of big dudes try to maintain control of the ball.
But Tristan, don't you think the powers that be want you to sit mindlessly in front of a television and direct all that anger you feel at our current societal systems and structures so you don't channel it into criticisms and actions against them?
Turn this TV off, turn this TV off. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off.
Shit get crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky.